taking on the Chinese Communist Party, the European Union is set to unveil new rules today that would crack down on Chinese state-subsidized foreign companies. This as the EU's trade chief announced plans to ratify a massive Chinese investment deal which has been suspended. Joining me right now is the Gatestone Institute senior fellow and author of the book, The Great U.S.-China Tech War, which seems to be on right now. Gordon Chang is here. Gordon, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for being here. I got to get your thoughts on what you're hearing out of Europe here. Are we finally seeing the Europeans push back on this bad behavior out of the Communist Party?
Yes, I think so. So, for instance, this announcement that they're probably going to suspend consideration of the Comprehensive Agreement on Investment, which was announced in December of last year, that, I think, is stunning. And it really is a realization that China is moving in directions that Europeans abhor. There are a number of issues here, but I think that essentially China has pushed Europe too far, and Europe is finally pushing back.
I mean, we've been talking about, the CCP versus the free world now for a long time, and you would think that the rest of the world does not want to see a communist country being the #1 most dominant superpower in the world. So perhaps the U.S. has gotten allies and been successful over the last few years in communicating the situation that we face.
Yes, I think so. And it's also because of just China's malign behavior. A lot of people say China wants to be #1 in the international system. Okay, our international system promotes competition among countries. But what China is trying to do is to overthrow that system and replace it with this notion of worldwide Chinese rule. And also, they're trying to take away our sovereignty, in other words. Also, they're subverting our society, they're infiltrating us, and they're trying to take down our democracy. So they're not leaving Americans with any choice as to what to do. And the Europeans are starting to see that. They're 5 to 10 years behind, and especially with Merkel, she's retiring, stepping down. That's going to be China's #1 supporter is going away. That's going to make a difference on the other side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, I mean, what bothers me is the fact that President Biden keeps calling China a competitor rather than an adversary. We all know what the CCP has done and continues to do. They're bullying their neighbors in the South China Sea. They are breaking promises. They just laid the law down in Hong Kong 25 years too soon. And clearly, the administration hasn't even acknowledged the fact that the coronavirus originated in China in likely a Wuhan lab. And he's calling China a competitor. We're ready for the competition, he said. Well, they're an adversary. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. I mean, I would call them an enemy because that's what China calls us. They declared a quote-unquote people's war on us in May 2019. But also, remember, coronavirus not only came from China. Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, took steps in December of 2019 and January of last year to deliberately spread the disease beyond China's borders. And you and Dagan were just talking about fentanyl. Well, that fentanyl that's coming across our southern border is either made in China or the components of it are made in China. They're smuggled into Mexico and then smuggled into the U.S. And by the way, these are not criminal gangs, Chinese gangs operating on their own. These are Chinese gangs operating with the approval of the Communist Party. Communist Party runs a near total surveillance state. They know what's going on. They back it. They want Americans to die from fentanyl.
Wow, that's a great point, Gordon. Let me ask you about this reliance we have and the supply chain. The Commerce Department is pressing Taiwanese firms to supply more chips to U.S. automakers as the U.S. automakers are facing supply shortages. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo also noted that increased investment is needed for the U.S. to produce more semiconductors, and other critical supply chains will need to be reshored back to the United States. We've been talking a lot about how the active ingredients in prescription drugs are made in China, how important it is for the U.S. to get rid of its dependence on China in regards to major supply chains. Gordon, have we done anything about this? The fact that 70% of active ingredients in things like, ibuprofen is made in China, and we're relying on these products?
Well, the Trump administration in its last year started the process of making sure that the active pharmaceutical ingredients are actually made in the United States. So there were a number of programs in that regard, but obviously we need to do more. And, you know, now we're starting to understand semiconductors. Look, the world's most advanced semiconductors are designed in the U.S., but we can't make them. We cannot make them in this country, and clearly that's got to change. And so I think that there's going to be bipartisan support for making sure that we make on our own soil the semiconductors that we need, not only for our cars, but for our weapons, for everything, or virtually everything that we use.
Yeah, and by the way, as we wrap up here, Gordon, if you had any question about who Xi Jinping is, he's now adopting this new title, the helmsman. The helmsman has not been used since the days of Mao Zedong. Quick comment on that as we go, Gordon.
Xi Jinping is actually much more dangerous than Mao Zedong. And, you know, a lot of people said, oh, he was just talking about Mao. This was just rhetorical excess. No, he really means it. And actually, he means to be worse than Mao.
Yeah, dictator for life, for sure. Gordon, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much. We'll keep talking and certainly putting a spotlight on this.